Okay, this is a 2005 W463 chassis G500, and today, fan clutch. Now this is the mechanical fan on the front of the engine, and right now this is about as loose as it gets, about a quarter of a turn, but it roars almost all the time. I'm going to show you the one on my ML350, and this is what it should essentially be like. It should spin about halfway, three-quarters of a way around once you spin it. Now this one, actually, I'm just going to start the car and you can hear it. So I'm going to rev the engine and then you'll just hear the fan pick up speed but not slow down. If I can get my fingers in here. Now it does slow down eventually, but really slowly. I don't recommend you doing this. I'm going to touch that fan blade. I should be able to bring it to a stop with my fingers. Don't do this at home. No, I can't. Trust me on that one, I can. That one's working perfectly. So the fan clutch, it's not really going to, if it's locked like that, it's not going to overheat. It's just going to rob you of power and be loud as hell. So we're going to swap it out. Went to the wrecking yard today and got one off of a G500, ML500. That does have a broken fin, so I'm going to have to replace. Hopefully the fin pack on this is the same as the clutch in the middle, that I can just swap the clutch onto the fins on this one. If not, I don't know. Anyway, back in a second. Okay, so this fan clutch, there's a big nut on there that has to be unscrewed. And it's 36 millimeters, and I don't have a 36 millimeter, which is about inch and a half. Is it more than an inch and a half? Approximately an inch and a half. I have an inch and I think 3/8 is the biggest I've got. So anyway, I just made one out of a piece of bar stock, cut it with a grinder, and then made a tool for holding the two nuts on top of the fan pulley to keep it from moving. And there's another possible way. Usually doesn't work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I think I've got it to work once. Simply going to insert the wrench and give it a quick whack. I don't think that there is enough friction on this there's not enough friction on this from just the belt to hold that. I'll try and set this up here. Hopefully none of us die. Just slip my holder tool on. Move that down out of the way. Slip my homemade wrench on. Well, that's stuck. Rotate this down, it will hit the frame, which is nice. So that bar down there is now holding against the frame. And that Bob guy, he's our uncle. excuse my sniffling. It's not a cold or anything. It's just, you know, when it's like really, really hot and sweaty out, and your eyes get sweat in them, and your nose starts running. Let's spin this off, and we'll match the two up. It'll just spin off and then pull up and out. Okay, let's compare these two. Part number, part number, part number. On the other side. There must be a part number on it somewhere. Just that. Doesn't look like a part number. It's like 1 and then a Roman numeral 3. I don't see a part number. But they appear exact same diameter. So I'm just going to use an Allen. That looks like a 5mm Allen bolt there and there. Let's swap the two out. And balancing wise, because as you can see, there's kind of a gap here between the fins. You see how these two are close, and these two are close, and then there's a gap. It is the same, yeah, on these two. They're the same. So I'm going to make sure to match up where this fit in. I don't know if there's this clutch. I've usually just replaced the whole fan at once, the whole assembly. I don't know if there's a match mark or something. Don't know. Anyway, I'll pop that up, take a look, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, again, so I don't know how these fans are balanced or if they're balanced in a certain way, but there is an offset fin or two here and there, which would lead me to suspect it must be off. Balanced slightly with the clutch assembly. Anyway, that was a 5mm Allen-headed socket. And if you look at the numbered fin, which is kind of the closest one, these two are closest together. Then there's a gap. This is the numbered one, and there's this mount here, and this is on kind of a 45 degree here. Same deal on this side, so we're just going to swap one for the other, pick up one, plop it on the other, and Bob is again our uncle, hopefully. And once I do that and tighten the bolts back on, I'm going to pop this back on the car. Hold on a second. Okay, so all bolted back in. The bolts are on at about 10-12 foot-pounds. They're small bolts. They're not spark plugs. They're not lug nuts, so you don't put them on too tight. Anyway, if you can see, this is the one that I just picked up from the wrecking yard for $10, and it's spinning fine. This one takes a lot of grunt to spin. So we're going to throw this one on. It's reverse threaded. Actually, well, it just goes in the reverse of what we just took it off. Anything under there to clean before I go back on? Nope. So it's just going to go in and you're going to lock it in place. It does not have to be tight as hell. Just putting the wrench on and tapping it with a hammer to tighten it would be fine. I don't know the exact torque spec on that, but I can't get a torque wrench on it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And it tightens as the engine's running. It's a reverse thread, so that when the engine's running, it can't just spin itself off. So anyway, I'm going to pop this back on, and actually just throw this. I might as well just throw the damn camera in there while I'm doing it. Well, shouldn't I? That would make more sense. I probably can't see very well down in there. And you can see that one spins more freely, as it should. It's semi-tightening itself, but I might as well do it. That's going to take forever. Not a lot of room. This same two tools that I made work on an ML, work on anything with a engine mounted fan, any Mercedes with the engine mounted fan, because they have the same water pump pulley bolt spacing and the same fan clutch nut, which is 36 millimeters. And I think the spacing between these was 44 millimeters between the two holes. And again, you can just buy one online, but I think this tool is like $100, and the wrench is probably $50 to $70 just for the 36 millimeter wrench. So scrap steel laying around the garage, and I do a fan clutch probably once every 8-10 years. So I'm not worried about having this thing being pretty or having to use it too many times. Slip my holder over. And remove that so that the bolts are in a better position. And I'm probably blocking you, and I apologize if I am. Okay. What do you say we start it and listen? See if we can hear a difference. I'll rev it up. If I can reach under again. Engine but no fan. And I'll do that thing I told you not to do again. So just stop the fan with my hand. Don't ever do this. I was able to stop it with my hand without tearing my fingers off. I can do the same on the ML as well. And I might as well show you. Sorry, there's a bunch of junk on the seat of this car. I'm cleaning out my glove box. Give it a few seconds to idle down. I don't want to do this on high idle. Again, don't do this. That smoke is, I just shampooed all my engines on all my cars. I do it once a month at least. So, yeah, same thing. This car has no problem cooling. This one had no problem cooling before, but it was actually probably more than likely overcooling, if anything, and the fan roar was brutal. So it's a 10-minute job. Again, if you want to order the part from Mercedes, we'll find out. I'm not even going to post this till I find out if this, I'm going to leave it running for about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, idling in the driveway, and we'll see what the temperature gets to. But I do not expect it to be overheating whatsoever. I mean, it's off of a an ML500, exact same engine, basically the same amount of space within the engine compartment, and I can't see the G500 one needing any different angle on the blades. I don't see it needing to be engaged at any different temperature than the ML500 would have to be. So anyway, be back after this is run for about 15 minutes. Okay, the truck's been running for about 10 minutes now. Still not even remotely warm. It's 30 degrees Celsius here today. But I did have the hood up, so I realized to put the hood down, and in the time it takes me to wax the Porsche, I am going to leave it running for the next 15 minutes, and we'll see then. Okay, Porsche has been spit shine. That was about 20 minutes. Actually, I'm going to ask you guys a question for whoever's watching this, if anybody does. The CNX ceramic, it's like a car wax. Where is it? Like, I waxed this with regular car polish, and I used the Mother's CMX ceramic spray coating. I'm kind of in the middle on it, because it's like $26 a can, or a bottle here in Canada. I think you can do probably 7-8 cars with it, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's worth it, or no, if you've tried it? Anyway, we're going to go check the temperature on this beast. I haven't even looked at it since the last time we were there. Watch it be pegged. About 94 degrees, which is exactly where it should be. Let me shut this off. Half an hour of sucking down premium should be enough. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's it. I'll give it a shot for a couple of days, and then I'll follow back in a couple of days and let you know how it works. It seems fine to me, and I don't see any reason why it won't. Comments? Thanks.